Specific amendments proposed in the Children's Act have generated mixed reactions from various stakeholders in child services. If passed, the miscellaneous amendments bill on the Children's Act will give power to the Cabinet Secretary to reject the registration of institutions if he or she believes they are not in the best interest of the child. Now, KTN's Brian Obuya now tells us it appears that the state has plans to be in charge of child adoption and still regulate itself.
Amendments also lay emphasis on having the Child Welfare Society as the lead and recognized national child adoption agency. A section of stakeholders are opposing the amendment, citing the critical role played by charitable children institutions and the unclear definition of the phrase, the best interest of the child, which will give the CS a leeway to shut down some institutions.
The issue of the conflict of interest. How do you hold children? How do you process adoption? At the same time, regulate yourself and provide oversight to yourself. Because adoption should always have checks and balances. Different institutions bring different role.
I know the Child Welfare Society was made like an almost semi-autonomous government agency, but it cannot handle the number of adoptions in the country, and it can also not manage all the cases of adoption. And again, because of the way adoptions are done, it is important that other agencies be able to undertake adoption. You can't have one agency alone undertaking adoption.
Questions of accountability and supervision of the Children Welfare Society have also been raised. Child adoption in Kenya is one of the most controversial issues in childcare and protection. Child adoption agencies have in a few instances been accused of aiding child trafficking.
I also want to believe that the Labour Committee, in its wisdom, is looking at these matters and also understands very well that there is absolutely no intention to deregister through the law private adoption society. So they will continue to operate, even with the passing of the miscellaneous amendments, if they do go through in Parliament.
My understanding of that particular provision is that people who get these children, social workers, children's officers, the police, and even Kenyans, they ought to know that other than that, maybe just taking a child to a police station or just staying with it and not reporting anywhere. There is actually an organization that is mandated, is actually funded by the government to take care of our children.
For now, trouble looms in child protection quarters, which have been accused of swindling donors and linked in mentionable instances to child trafficking. Even so, arguments have been tabled on just how the state wishes to regulate children institutions and still be its own watchdog. This has been envisaged as a corruption scheme in the making. But is it? The game begins soon. Brian Obuya, KTN News.